flying past me. What do I got to do? And I was with a company that had hit a wall. It was a company called NSA. They had water filters and air filters. And their company was going through a lot of drama. And they hadn't switched. They'd switched to Juice Plus. Later, they became a nutritional company, and they're very successful still today. But they hadn't done that at that time. So full-timers like me were desperate. And I joined another company in September of 1992. And I decided that I was going to engage in a 90-day burst of activity like I'd never worked in my life. Now, understand, I'm a guy who's kind of struggling, making 100 to 200. And in my first 12 months, my 1099 was $980,000. In my first 12 months. I'm the same guy with the same skills, same abilities, same influence, same contacts. And I went from struggling to $980,000 in 1 year. 1 year. You know what made that happen? A 90-day burst, a 90-day game plan. It all happened from 90 days. Another gentleman that was involved with me at that time, his name's Art. And Art drove, we had an event that we started with that company. He drove from Boston to Chicago. Had no money, broke, never made more than a couple $1,000s in network marketing, never in his life. And he said, I'll do whatever I need to do. Tell me what I need to do. And we sat down with him, and never forget, we sat in this lounge and we said, let's create a 90-day game plan for you to be able to change your life. You know what we told him? The only thing between you and being a millionaire is putting 1,000 people in the room in Boston 90 days from today in your downline. He said, really? I said, really? Can you show me how? Yes, I can show you how. I can be a millionaire from the efforts that I do in the next 90 days. And it's learnable. Yes. Well, Art did that. He went back. And he followed instructions. He quit 2 weeks later. And then we had to talk him back into it. Seriously. And 90 days later, he didn't have 1,000 people in the room, but he had about 700 in the room 90 days later from nothing, with no money. We taught him exactly how to do it, step by step, the total game plan, the total blueprint, how to build towards it, how to do it, and how to come out of it. Today, Art makes about $5 million a year. Number one in his company. About $5 million a year, over $400,000 every month. He was broke, no money, had to drive from Boston to Chicago and then back again. Quit 2 or 3 times during his 90-day game plan. Pulled it off, and that started a career for him. Brian Carruthers is another example. Brian Carruthers was with my company, TPN. And Brian had never made more than $2,000 in a month with my company. And when my company sold to Prepaid Legal Services, who's now become Legal Shield, when my company sold, Brian, there's people moaning and crying and upset and freaked out and we'll see and all that stuff. And Brian said, you know what? This is my window. This is my opportunity. I'm going to attack this like I've never attacked anything in my life. Another gentleman at the same time that he works with today, and top earner, his name is Darnell Self, one of the best leaders in network marketing, decided at the same time, you know what, that was going to be his future. Prior to that, what the most Darnell ever made? $400 a month. And where did he work? Retail or something? He worked in a retail store in a mall. Darnell Self, one of the most powerhouse guys in the profession. But what those guys decided to do while everybody else was crying and whining and wondering, and this is a big transition, transitioning one company into another network marketing company is huge. They decided to put together a 90-day game plan, and they put it together like you've never seen in your life. And they worked so hard. I'm going to teach you some of the things that they did. They worked so hard, so focused, at 100% throttle to get off the ground and get it going. Brian had never made more than $2,000 in a month. What was your first month's check? 11. What was it after 6 months? 24. What was it after 12 months? 42. How much could you go back and point to of your 14 million that you've earned since that time? How much could you go back and point to your first 90 days? Almost all of it? So how much did you get paid per hour for your first 90 days? Figure that out for a second. Let's just do the math for a second. You got 40 hours in a week. You've got 90 days. That's going to be about, what, 12 weeks? 12 times 40 is how much? 480? 480 weeks? 480 hours? Somebody pull out a calculator, take 14 million divided by 480 hours. How much? $29,000 an hour. And running. It's still growing. You understand what I'm saying? The 90 days is everything.